Emma and welcome to our 6th episode of Series 4 of The Message Today. This week, as promised, we are looking at the topic of respect. In order to do that, we have our special guest, Soulbox, music by 1224, and Mark will be sharing his story.
Hey, what's happening? I'm Daniel, and if you have any questions from this session, why not write them down and talk in your group with your teachers afterwards. If you are personally struggling with anything we talk about, please do think of an adult that you can trust, that you can talk to ASAP. Now, this might be a parent or a guardian, a youth leader or member of staff at your school.
Last week, we learnt that there's nothing more worthy, no principle more basic than to be loved, valued and respected. We've already done an episode on love, so you might want to go back and check that out. But today, let's look at the topic of respect.
You might have heard the quote, respect is earned, not given. Or, respect is a two-way street. If you want to get it, you gotta give it. Many of us would agree with these statements. And as we all know, that is very hard to show respect to someone who's not demonstrating respect to themselves.
But what if today we could allow Miguel Ruiz, a retired Spanish footballer, to influence us? He said, respect is one of the greatest expressions of love. Yes, respect can be earned, but do you think it can be given out of love or choice too? The way we choose to live our lives and the way we choose to treat others will make an impact. Let's check out another inspirational video by Ben Lionel Scott.
When we're laying on our deathbed, you're not going to worry about how much money you had, how much power you had, how much prestige. You're going to see that that was all game, that that was all an illusion. The only thing that's going to matter is the impact you had on other people's lives.
We are all on a separate journey. But the beautiful thing about our life here on this earth is at my funeral, they ain't going to talk about my success. They're going to talk about who Nick was and how Nick lived and how Nick loved and encouraged.
Success is incredibly important, but even more important than success, it's having an impact. It's knowing you haven't walked the planet in vain. It's knowing that because you've been here, you've blessed lives, you've developed people, and you have made the world a better place.
The effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Everything you gain in life will rot and fall apart, and all that will be left of you is what was in your heart.
Life is a mirror, and life gives us not what we want. Life gives us who we are. When you were born, you cried while the world rejoiced. Live your life in such a way that when you die, the world cries while you rejoice.
So what is respect? Let's check in with our students from across the UK and find out what their response is.
That's such a broad question.
How do you describe respect without saying the word respect?
Respect is treating another person well. It's just treating them like human, like how you would want to be treated.
When you kind of admire someone, you put them in high esteem and you kind of look up to them.
Genuinely being nice to them, like in some sense. You respect their opinion. You don't just say, oh yeah, I don't care about your opinion. My opinion is the only one that matters.
The ability to humble yourself in front of someone, and I think it should go both ways.
I think it's just accepting that different people have different boundaries.
It's not admiring someone, it's just like
appreciating them for what they do or how they treat you or their values.
I think it's really important for everyone to respect everyone and respect everyone's opinions and acknowledge everyone's opinions.
Treating someone in a genuinely nice and comforting way, no matter their race, their sexuality, their religion. Just keeping it real with someone.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
Thanks, guys. Up next to share their thoughts on today's topic is my mates, Ben, John, and Sammy from Soulbox.
Yes, everybody, great to be with you today. We are Soulbox. We're a band. Usually we'd be in schools doing gigs and all that kind of stuff, but today we're with you in your classroom. This here is Sammy, my name is John, and this is Ben, and he's going to define our topic for the day.
Wikipedia states that respect, also called esteem, is a positive feeling or action shown towards someone or something considered important or held in high esteem or regard. It conveys a sense of admiration for good or valuable qualities, and it is also the process of honouring someone by showing care, concern, or consideration for their needs or feelings.
When I was in high school, I remember being challenged about this idea of respect. And the reason I was challenged is because for the first time in my high school career, somebody didn't treat me with love and respect, and it felt awful. Towards the end of year 8, beginning of year 9, these girls started bullying me. They'd follow me around school calling me Ashy because my skin was dark. They would put clicks in my second name because I was from Africa. Your girl's a British citizen. I'm not bitter, I'm better. But anyway, it really made me feel horrible. And I remember feeling like I never want to make anyone else feel the way that those girls made me feel. And this really clicked for me when I was older and I became a Christian. I remember bumping into a girl that I knew from high school who was in my friendship group, and I made a beeline for her because I wanted to apologize for not treating her with the love and respect that she deserved. Whenever we'd get in arguments in high school, we'd get really toxic and pick at each other's insecurity. And I'd call her fat, I'd call her every other name in the sun, and it wasn't nice at all. So I took the time to go over to her and verbally encourage her and call out the great qualities that she has in her life. The reason I did this is because since high school, I've been influenced by the greatest man who's ever walked the face of this earth. His name is Jesus. And in a book in the Bible, Matthew 7, he says this, he says, treat others as you would like to be treated. Something that I really want to encourage you guys to do and challenge you to do. Treat others the way that you want to be treated. The words, the things that we say, the way that we treat people can impact them for the rest of their lives. How do you want to impact the people around you?
And remember, everybody watching, you can live life to the fullest as well. And also, go follow us at Soulbox Band on YouTube and Instagram. God bless.
Discrimination is the unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people, especially on the grounds of race, age, sex, or disability. Whenever there's discrimination, there is a lack of respect, and this is unacceptable. So it's vitally important that today we look at the topic of respect.
Kids Helpline tell us that receiving respect from others is important. Why? Because it helps us to feel safe and it helps us to express ourselves.
They go on to say that being respected by important people in our lives growing up teaches us how to be respectful towards others, and this helps us to accept others for who they are, even when they're different to us and we don't agree with them.
Respect in all relationships help us to build feelings of trust, safety and well-being. It may not always come naturally, but it is something that we can learn.
Being respectful towards others is one part of the puzzle. It's also important to have respect for yourself, remembering that you are valuable and that you matter. What you think and feel is just as important as what somebody else thinks and feels. And if that means ending a relationship that isn't respectful, then this is one way of respecting yourself.
Let's check in with Destiny and Adam to hear some facts and stats.
In 2019 to 2020, there were 105,090 hate crimes recorded by the police in England and Wales, excluding Greater Manchester Police, which is an increase of 8% compared to the previous year. According to Home Office data, race hate crimes accounted for almost 3 out of 4 recorded offences at 72%. Sexual orientation offences rose by 19%, and disability hate crime increased by 9%.
Body language and gestures can play a huge part in showing respect, but different cultures can interpret the same gestures quite differently. The OK sign, for example, is often meant to indicate that things are fine or good, but in the Middle East it is used to represent the evil eye and is therefore a curse. Another example would be George Bush Sr.'s 1992 visit to Australia, where he gave the peace sign to a crowd. Unfortunately, while the Australians do the peace sign the same way as we do in the UK, the Americans do it with their hand facing the other way, and so then the president essentially gave the crowd the finger. Talk about awkward.
Statistics show that more than 750,000 adults aged 16 to 74 were victims of sexual assault or attempted sexual assault in the year ending March 2020, according to data published by the Office for National Statistics. There were 618,000 female victims, 4 times as many as male victims. I find it really upsetting that so many people aren't being respected sexually. If you or anyone you know has been a victim of this, make sure you're talking to a trusted adult about it and getting the support you need.
Aretha Franklin earned 2 Grammy Awards in 1968 and was inducted in the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1987 for the song Respect. It was also placed number 5 on Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. Franklin's version is a declaration from a strong, confident woman who knows that she has everything her man wants. She never does him wrong and demands his respect. However, did you know that she didn't actually write the original? Otis Redding did, and his version was actually a plea from a desperate man who will give his woman anything she wants as long as he gets his due respect when he brings the money home.
With the recent death of Prince Philip, you might have noticed a lot of Union flags flying at half-mast in your local area and wondered why we do that. The tradition of flying the flag at half-mast is a sign of respect for someone who's died, dating back to the 17th century. According to some sources, the flag is lowered to make room for an invisible flag of death flying above it.
The Brookings Institution released an article in May 2020 that stated that while doctors and nurses deserve our praise, millions of healthcare workers aren't getting the pay or respect that they deserve in the COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, doctors and nurses represent less than 20% of all essential health workers. There are millions of nursing assistants, phlebotomists, home health aides, housekeepers, medical assistants, cooks and more. Do you think that people working in the frontline roles like this have been given the respect that they deserve? What could you do to show your respect to someone in a role like this?
We asked our students from around the UK this question: how do you show and how do you know if someone respects you? This was their answer.
How does someone show you respect? How do you know that someone respects you? That's a hard question.
I show respect through listening to people and understand and taking time to understand their story and understand their situations. Even if I don't agree with that, I feel like that's respectful. I also think I've been shown respect when people listen to me and say, you know what, I take your opinion, I understand that. I might not agree with it, but I respect you.
The way I show respect is when someone else is talking, I won't talk over them. I'll listen to what they have to say. I won't, jump in at something. I'll let them say the full thing out and then say my purpose afterwards.
If they're always just like lifting you up and making sure that you're confident and that you're happy with what you're doing, then they respect you and the decisions that you're making.
I think they would kind of be very attentive towards you. They would want to hear what you were saying because they have that level of respect and they put you in that high level of esteem. So they would kind of trust your opinion on things and diligently listen to you.
If someone respects me, they listen to me, they understand my thoughts and why I would do certain things and just let it be. I show respect by listening to them as well and trying to help them out and just being there for one another and not taking the really.
Manners is a massive part of it, and even when you disagree with someone, accepting their viewpoint, I think that's a massive sign of respect. Not being argumentative, that kind of thing.
I have my best mate who I trust very dearly. I tell him about my life all the time. He tells me about his, and we respect each other by keeping it between us two. We don't give it to random people who we can't trust.
And I also think respect is just being kind to one another and like not judging anyone.
You can respect someone as a friend or as a teacher or as an authority figure. Like, I respect the police, so if they ask me a question, I'll tell them the answer. How I respect teachers is by when they, tell me to sit down, I sit down, or if they ask me to put my hand up, I put my hand up. And where I respect my friends is just by treating them well, smiling at them, not shouting at them, interacting with them, that sort of way. So it's a thing that changes depending on the situation.
So how do you show respect for others? Maybe you could discuss this later, but thankfully, aconsciousthink.com did an article answering this question. So let's see what they had to say.
Number 1, listen. When you give another person your time and your focus and your ear, you validate them. This conveys respect.
Number 2, affirmation. To affirm someone, you just have to notice something positive about that person and verbalise this observation. Doing this, we're giving evidence that they matter, that they have value, that they're important, and that they are worthy of respect.
Number 3, serve. Life on earth is about serving others, to give back to others. When we use our talents and abilities to make life better for others, it shows that we care.
Number 4, be kind. Kindness is an expression of respect. Respect for the fact that someone else is simply in need. We have all been in need at some point, and what a relief it was when that someone showed us kindness.
Number 5, be polite. It's so easy to be polite and so inexpensive, yet put a person in a car, a shop, on the pitch, on social media, and you see politeness is a fading quality. An act of politeness can literally change a person's day. It can even change a person's life.
Number 6, be thankful. Thankfulness is becoming increasingly rare in our world. It's not so much that we need to be thanked, it's that we want to feel that what we've done has made a difference. When there is no thankfulness for something we've done or even for who we are, we feel a lack of respect.
Albert Einstein said this: "I speak to everyone in the same way, whether he is the garbage man or the president of the university."
Along with Einstein, celebrities like Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler and Chris Pratt also respect the regular people who come up to talk to them, and they are all known for being genuinely nice, funny guys. If they can do that as successful Hollywood celebrities, maybe we could give it a try. Why don't you give respect a try? And if everybody did this, maybe the world would change for the better.
So let's check out Lauren's quote of the day.
Respect is how to treat everybody, not just those you want to impress. This is by Sir Richard Branson, and I love this quote. It's so important that we treat everybody with respect.
So who else is having a go at changing culture and introducing respect? The FA is. Disrespectful behaviour on and off the pitch has been an issue for years. Following a build-up of behavioural problems in the national game, the Football Association took action and created the Respect Programme.
You see, research showed them that 90% of footballers play better in a positive environment. However, following a survey of 1,000 participants, it came out that 88% cited parents on the sidelines as the driver of disrespect in grassroots football.
Their We Only Do Positive campaign aims to promote and educate coaches and parents on their roles in creating a fun, safe and inclusive environment for all the players, ensuring that they have great experiences throughout their entire football journey.
In February 2020, the Pledge of Positivity was launched, and along with England manager Gareth Southgate, you too can add your name, committing to creating a more positive environment at matches across the country.
Can you think of any other clubs or organisations that you're involved in that might benefit from a Respect programme? Why don't you have a chat about that afterwards? But up next, we have an amazing guy who's part of the Rough and Ruby family from Stoke-on-Trent, we have Mark Bracewell telling his story.
So yeah, I'm blessed and highly favoured. Respect was something I was always told I must have for everybody else growing up as a child, but ultimately I didn't feel love or respect. So within that, I didn't really respect myself, and I couldn't really show people the respect that I was told I had to give. So growing up in a home where I suffered domestic violence, and witnessed a lot of domestic violence, I didn't really have any self-worth. I was told to go away at the weekends, and where I was sent, I would then suffer sexual abuse. So like I said, I didn't have no self-worth as a child. From then, I started looking for the love that I always craved, and ended up on the streets and ended up in gangs. When I was in gangs, I then was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing, like stealing and burglaries, selling drugs, ultimately then getting involved in taking drugs and being addicted to crack cocaine for 20 years. So in that, I wasn't respecting myself, so I was finding it hard to respect others. Ultimately, I ended up going to prison. In prison, I started to see a little bit different and started to understand that the choices that I made in life was through the lack of self-worth that I had for myself and the lack of respect that I had for myself. So therefore, I wasn't able to give what that I felt I wasn't receiving. When I came out of prison, I then started walking towards God and hearing Him calling me, and within that, I just felt different. I felt love. The people that I was meeting were different, and they were showing me that actually they respected me, and then from that, out of that, ultimately I just started respecting them back, and I started understanding that, yeah, it was easy to respect people because I was starting to feel self-worth. But it was a beginning journey. It took time to get to where I'm at now, and it didn't happen overnight. There was one instance, for example, where I was still learning how to love myself and respect myself, and I went out one night and got drunk, and within that, I ended up into a fight and I lost my eye. I was stabbed in the face and in the neck, and I nearly died. So, yeah, that's what happened through not respecting myself, I guess. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say to you is, you don't have to go through what I went through to learn about respect. Respect yourself, because you are worth something, and once you respect yourself, it will be easy to respect others. My name is Mark Bracewell, and this is my story.
Thanks, Mark. That was epic. Up next, courtesy of Fearless Soul, this video is called How You Treat People is Who You Are.
A.D. Williams once said, "Imagine what 7 billion humans could accomplish if we loved and respected one another." Just imagine. Imagine if there was no greed. Imagine if there was no comparison. If everyone was running their own race, but cheering for all others at the same time. Maybe we'll never see that in our lifetime. But what we all can do is start with ourselves. Start with yourself. Choose to lift others up. Choose to set the example of kindness and integrity, the example of compassion and understanding. There's a quote that says, "No matter how educated, talented, rich, or cool you believe you are, how you treat people ultimately tells all." Integrity is everything. It really is. Who you are is far more important than what you have, and it will always be. Who you are is measured by how you make others feel. Be kind to each other. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. Choose to be the change you wish to see in the world. Decide you will not wait for someone else. You will set the example. Be kind, because you never know how much that person is suffering inside. You never know the difference your words can make, the difference your presence can make, the difference you can make to one human life. Be the reason someone believes in the goodness of humanity. Be the reason someone else decides to make a difference in others. Be the influence you want to see more of. Always do what is right, not what is easy in the moment. kindness spreads like a virus. When you do good to another, that person does better to those they come in contact with. You really can make a big difference in the world today and every other day. Anne Frank said, in the long run, the sharpest weapon of all is a kind and gentle spirit. No one has ever made themselves great by showing how small another is. Be kind and always build others up to the best of your ability. Treat everyone with the same level of kindness that you would like for yourself. Not because everyone is nice, but because you are. Because it is right. Because you have integrity. Because you want this world to be better when you leave than when you arrive.
In the beginning, if you have any questions from this session, why don't you talk about it in your groups afterwards? Also, if your teacher or leader would like to extend this session, you can access the questions that accompany this episode by following the link in the description on YouTube.
If you are personally struggling with any of the content, please do think of an adult you can trust that you can talk to ASAP. Don't wait. There are many great websites and charities like I'm Possible, The Mix, Young Minds, Koof and Childline that can help you too.
Don't forget, many of the bands that you see here on The Message today are releasing new content on their socials every week. Every month, all the Message Trust bands get together for one massive show called Higher Live. The band's YouTube channels are on the screen, so why don't you check them out?
Like Mark's story that we heard earlier, we all have battles and giants to face and overcome in our lives. We really hope that the message today has really supported you over the past year, equipping you to make great choices in life in order to reach your full God-given potential.
Maybe you could consider booking a Respect Me team, our No More Knives tour, or one of our bands into your school soon to deliver more in-depth lessons in person. Next week, we're going to tell you more about these projects and how you can do this. But for now, we're going to say goodbye and leave you with a song by 1224. It's called Riot.
I feel the weight of the world crashing down on my heart, just like the rain. I don't know where it ends or where it starts. I'm ready for the battle of my life. All I know is that I need you by my side. I'm ready for the battle of my life. All I know is that I need you. Wake me up. Wake me up.
Stood like a lost soul at the crossroads, trying to figure the right way to go. Will I face my fears, stand and fight, or run away, man, I don't know. But I don't really want to waste my life, cause I might not get tomorrow. And I've been through a few things, I already lost fights, and I carry these scars. So I'm praying for faith like the rain to fall on my face and wash all the pain away. And when all the giants stand in defiance, will I have what it takes, I wonder.
I'm ready for the battle of my life.